Welcome to the Instagram stories for Monday, September 13th. On Mondays, we do something I invented called Mosseri Mondays, where we consider what the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, shared on his Ask Me Anything on Friday. Usually, I add on to it by providing a little more context or explaining things that you didn't know or what he's saying but what he really means, that kind of stuff. Let's get into some of the questions and answers that he discussed. First question, and it's a good one. Why no swipe up anymore? Sticker link is too clunky. If you're not familiar, if you have 10,000 or more followers, you can do swipe up in stories. I've talked about this a few times. However, recently it's changed. So instead of swiping up from the bottom, now it's a sticker, like the poll sticker or the question sticker. There are advantages to having the sticker. For instance, you can reply to that story now by sending a DM, which you couldn't do before with the swipe up. So there's some advantages, but here's his answer.
Really, I kind of think the sticker is a little cleaner, but I'm curious what other people think. So do you prefer the link sticker or swipe up?
Then he had a poll, and you could pick which you preferred, the link sticker or swipe up. Most people actually picked the swipe up, which I was a little bit surprised about. When I voted, it was 75% of the voters wanted the swipe up, and only 25% wanted the link sticker. But I think in this case, people just want what they have known for so long. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Next question, and this is a good one. Will we ever have the ability to see who unfollowed? I think that's potentially more psychologically problematic than product problematic. But anyway, here's his answer.
No, we're not going to make that easy to check out. We think people should be able to unfollow without worrying about escalating the situation.
I see where he's coming from. Just as a reminder, never install any third-party apps that say they will help you find or track who's unfollowing you. It's just going to end up in a bad place for you. Next question, and this one is pretty common. Where's the Instagram iPad app? I don't have an iPad, but from everything I've heard, using Instagram on an iPad, if you use the app, is a very stretched out, not great experience. I am a Windows Surface user. I have a Surface tablet. I absolutely love that tablet, to be honest with you. And it's great because there's an Instagram app for Windows, which you can use. But if you really want the Instagram iPad app, you could always use it in the browser as well. Obviously, you can't do everything in the browser. You can't watch Reels, for instance. But anyway, here's the answer.
I just spent a bit of time on an iPad because I was on a flight, but no, still no iPad app for Instagram. It would be nice to do, but there is a lot to do and only so many people, so it hasn't quite yet made the cut.
When Adam Mosseri actually answered these questions, he was driving in the car with his wife, and his wife chimed in on the iPad app question, which is interesting. So here's that part of the conversation.
Monica thinks that one was interesting. Why was that question interesting?
I was saying who would really need the Instagram.
She's like, who wants
iPad?
to...
But then I was like, my mother, actually.
Apparently my mother-in-law. Yeah, actually, she might.
She might.
All right. Well, I get it every week, so.
I guess a lot of people are asking for that iPad app. But to be fair, they've made so many improvements and enhancements to the app that if they haven't done it by now, I don't see it happening. That's just my 2 cents, and I could be completely wrong. Next question. Why can't we share posts to stories anymore, straight from the share button under the post? My thought on that is, it's not really great to do because although you are resharing the content and you want your followers to see it, the fact that the person who originally made that content doesn't get tagged says that by design, this is not a great system. Instagram wasn't really set up for retweeting the way Twitter is. It's just a different platform and they want it to be different for their own reasons, which is fine. Anyway, here's his answer.
So we're testing moving the share flow to a sticker because a lot of people want to share feed posts to stories, but less people seem to be interested in seeing them. So we're trying to figure out what the right balance is. But currently it's just a test.
I would like to see a solution for sharing feed posts to stories that make sense. The reason people share feed posts to stories is you just don't get the reach on your feed post that you want to, or you come across someone's message that you think is funny or educational and you want to amplify that message. That makes sense, but I don't really see people engaging with those posts, and it seems like Instagram isn't seeing that either. And the last question to discuss, why are you shadow banning people who express their views opposite of yours? Here's his answer.
We don't do anything to people for expressing views that are opposite to ours. We actually take a lot of flack for letting people say a lot of crap on our platform that we don't agree with because we think speech is important. But we do have more to do on being transparent about our content policies and our takedowns, and we're working on it.
Okay, that's it for the question and answer section. I hope you found that insightful and helpful. As always, if you could do me a favor, go on Amazon.com or Apple Music and leave a review of this show. It would mean the world to me because then other people would be able to find the show. If you've been listening for a long time and you thought to yourself, I should write a review, but I always forget, today could be that day. I would really appreciate that. Come back tomorrow for more Instagram news, strategy, tips, and much more.